in the exam, final exam, and we will not have time to review that. But if you know how to do it now, it's good because you might actually see it in this test. Okay, how do we do sine curve when we are given raw data? Raw data. We're given a raw data right here. And how do we do a sine curve? The first thing you want to do, you want to know the formula. So you want to make sure you remember the formula. If it is, let's call it f of x plus d. So where a, b, c, d are real numbers, they are constants. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put this in parentheses. We need to know how to do this. It's not just about making an A in this class. You want to be able to defend yourself or answer questions on the course you have taken when you get to calculus. All right, so the first thing you want to do is to estimate A. When you're given a raw data, you can estimate the amplitude. So let's find the amplitude. The amplitude when I'm given a raw data is equal to the mid-range. In other words, the range, maximum number minus minimum number divided by 2. So let's estimate the amplitude now. I'm going to check the raw data that I'm given. The maximum number seems to be 68. That's maximum. The minimum number is 38. If I subtract 68 minus 38, gives me approximately 30. Divide 30 by 2, I have 15. Therefore, the estimate of amplitude is 15. Because it's a raw data, you want to know this estimate before you start. Now, I want to estimate D, the vertical shift. You want to estimate the vertical shift, D. Okay, and so the estimate of D is the average of the maximum plus minimum. So add maximum plus minimum, 68 plus 38 divided by 2. So this is the vertical shift. All right, so let me get my calculator and find the estimate of the vertical shift. Before even you put it in your calculator, you really want to do that. So I'm going to add the two numbers, maximum plus minimum, enter divided by 2. What is the estimate of the vertical shift? The estimate of the vertical shift is 53. Well, guess what? You can actually, after doing the estimate, you conclude the answer. Then what is the estimate of B? Or actually, one cycle starts from January and ends in December. So remember that a cycle of sine is 2. So 2 pi over B, and my B is 12. Because one cycle of sine, actually one cycle of temperature starts from January to December. Therefore, I have pi over 6. Therefore, I get my pi over 6. Okay, so now pi over 6 stands like my B. So I know A, the amplitude, I know the vertical shift D, and I know B. Okay, so now I can actually go ahead and guess the one that is correct. So this is going to be the right one. But anyway, in case you are told to find your answer, use, in fact, even if you want to, let's go ahead. I put it in my calculator already. So let me go to STAT. I want to make sure that the data is still there. I'm saying this because this question is in the exam and we will not have time to review. Okay, so, and it is in section 9.6. You are expected to know sinusoidal curve, how to graph it, just like you did in quadratic function, linear function, exponential function. So that's the way. So this number L1 is my months. So let me make sure that I have up to 12 months. Yes. Now my L2 will be temperature. Okay, now that I still have this data, what I'm going to do is do a scatter plot and make sure that my scatter plot actually looks like a sine curve. So that's a scatter plot, and my L1 still contains my months, L2 temperature. I'll go to Y course and see if anything is there. Nothing is there. All right, and then I'm going to give my calculator the instruction to graph. I do a scatter plot and graph. Before I do that, I want to make sure that the mode is in radian because the graphs of sinusoidal function must be done in radian. I also want to let my calculator know that I want only 2 decimal places. I don't want 9 decimal places. So I put float to 2. All right, so now, by the way, can you see the board? If not, tell me, please. Hello? Somebody, unmute yourself. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay. If you cannot see, please just let me know. Okay, so that. All right. By the way, the recordings of the other day is Blackboard. I don't know why half of the class saw the board, half of class did not. Something went wrong, but I think it's fixed now. But let me know if anything goes fishy. Okay. So now I have set my calculator to 2 decimal places. I want the curve, the sine curve to be in radian. Then I'll do second quit. Then I'll go back to my start plot. And it's the way I want it to be. So I can zoom start. Zoom start. All right. So I like what I'm seeing. It looks like a sine curve. And by the way, we know that sine 0 is 0. So we can see that is telling us the truth. Okay, then what is the next thing? I want to put the curve on the scatter plot. So I'm going to go to start, look for sinusoidal curve. I can arrow up instead of going down. Okay, I already see it. So I'm doing sine regression, sinusoidal curve. Sine regression is C. I pick it up. And how many iterations do I want? I don't even have to tell it. I want only 1 iteration, but I don't need to write it. If it doesn't want to move, then I put 1 iteration. Okay. Then I go to L1. L1 is my months. L2 temperature. Temperature, period. I don't want to write the period. And then I want my equation stored in Y1. So I'll tell my calculator to store my equation in Y1. So vars, Y vars, function Y1. I just told my calculator to draw the sinusoidal curve for me, put the equation in Y1, and I'm going to compare that equation with the estimates I made. So I'm going to calculate. So from my calculation, I see that A, the amplitude is approximately 15. And the vertical, and the vertical shift is 53.21. So actually, we made a good guess. And see, we don't have to do that, but if you go ahead and multiply inside, you will see that the equation is this. So let me get the equation in Y1. So that is what I have. If you do not do this estimate before you start graphing, there will be a lot of confusion because the calculator will give you everything mumbled together. They will not show you. See, they didn't show me B. But if I factor out pi over 6 here, how do I know it's pi over 6? I found it out. I found out that B is pi over 6. So I actually estimated B, estimated A, estimated D before I started drawing the curve. It's important that you do that. All right, this test will be, this question, modeling with sinusoidal curve. If you can expect it in the final exam, and final exam is in 2 weeks. By the way, if you see it in a test in 2 days, you shouldn't be surprised after all. Okay, so this is the curve. Now you want to, suppose you're told to write your answer in exact form. So being able to do the estimates will help you write the answer in exact form. Suppose they don't want the answer with decimal. That is why you need to know how to do the estimate before you do the graph. You do the Sine regression. Is this clear? This should be clear. This is important. I'm recording this, by the way, so you can go back and look at it.